In this video, we will create the virtual WAN resource and add a virtual hub to it. But before doing that, let's understand our intention. Let's understand this architecture first. In the demonstration, what is that we're going to do? We will implement this architecture in 3 phases. Okay, we're not going to implement this architecture in one go because video would be too long. I just want to make sure that we have a videos which is less than like a 10 minutes during the demonstration. Actually, that's my intention. So what is that we're going to do? We will have 3 demos to cover up this particular architecture. In this architecture, you see virtual WAN. Within virtual WAN, there is a WAN hub, and within hub, we deployed VPN gateway. Then on the other side, you got 2 spoke network, spoke 1 and spoke 2, right? And these particular networks are connected to the virtual WAN hub. And then this user will use a P2S connectivity, hop onto the VPN gateway, and then plan to access these VMs, which is running in the private network. That is the overall intention. But we will do this in 3 pages. Otherwise, demo would be too long actually. I just want to avoid that, having a long demos. All right, let's get on the portal now. I am on the portal. What is that I am going to do first? Let's create a resource group. So let's name this particular resource group RG, my virtual WAN, and we place this particular resource group in Australia East, review and create, validation pass, create. Resource group is created. Now what is that we're gonna do? We search for the resource called virtual WAN. All right, select that, create virtual WAN, select the resource group we just created, and name this particular resource as my virtual WAN. And there are 2 types of SKUs. We discussed this one, standard and basic. Basic is for only VPN connectivity. You don't have security features included in the basic SKU. You only get security features in standard SKU. So in our case, we're going to use the standard, and we don't need to feed any other information. We simply say review and create. Now, when you create this resource, means you creating that overarching structure for the virtual WAN. That is what it means. You don't need to any other information because rest of the other configuration will be seen inside this virtual WAN. Unless you have this resource in place, you won't be in a position to see what kind of configuration that you can do with the virtual WAN. So let's go to the resource. Okay, and that's it. That is what now you can see within the virtual WAN resource. This is where most of the setting under connectivity you can find, you can do, right? But let's see what is the thing that we see in the configuration. In the configuration, if you got a basic SKU, you can upgrade to standard. But if you got a standard already, you can't downgrade that. That's the guidance from Microsoft, right? And you got hub to hub connectivity enabled and branch to branch connectivity enabled. You might need this one, is just because that is what virtual WAN is meant for, right? So usually you might see in most of the use cases this is enabled, and you got a standard as well. Properties, nothing much there, just resource information and locks. If you want to lock down this resource so that no one accidentally delete this, right? And this is where that virtual hub is, So we said in this demo, we're going to create a virtual hub. So let's click on the new hub, and resource group and subscription is automatic. We place this virtual hub in the Australia East as well. And let's name this hub is my virtual WAN hub, something like this. And we have to also provide one CIDR. And note, this particular CIDR is something managed by Microsoft. So we giving a CIDR 10.10.0.0/20 in this case. Okay, and this CIDR, once you supplied, you done. Rest of the things would be taken care by Microsoft itself. Okay, and what is the additional thing we need to do when we select the virtual hub? We have to select the sites. Again, this is depending on your infrastructure use cases. You might choose the required virtual hub capacity in this particular case, and if you're looking for a bigger throughput, then you choose accordingly. I think from my perspective, in most of the use cases it could be around this. I think 7 Gbps router is pretty huge, 8 Gbps is very huge, right? Unless you got a solid use case, you do not need to choose anything bigger than around this limit. So we just going to choose 2 routing infrastructure unit, 3 Gbps router, 2000 VMs, and hub routing preference. In our case here, we're going to choose VPN. We don't have express route. We don't have any other autonomous system path. This is what we're trying to achieve in this case. So we're going to go ahead and choose VPN in this case. Okay. Then you can do the configuration of site to site, point to site, express route connectivity when you deploy the virtual hub itself. But in our case, we're not doing that. We're only creating the virtual hub with minimal information. All right. And creating a hub with a gateway will take 30 minutes, so we're not adding anything here. So, but I still notice that it takes almost like a 10 minutes to deploy this particular hub. Review and create, right? So validation pass. Let's create this virtual hub. And let's wait this deployment to finish. It took almost like 8 to 10 minutes actually to get this hub deployed. Now the hub is up and running. Let's go to the resource. We don't see anything there. So let's go to the virtual WAN resource. Let's click on my virtual WAN and let's see the status of the hub. This is what you can see here. This is the CIDR that we provided to WAN hub. What is that we see? Now here we can do that connectivity. We can set up the routing, right? We can add basically the firewall. So many things, that we can do. All right. Another thing to check, because this CIDR is something we said Microsoft manage. Can we see this network created? So let's go to the virtual network and there you go. You don't see that. So as and when we say it is a Microsoft managed network, that is not something you're going to see on your portal. All right. That is a thing to understand. So I don't see that particular virtual network is created within your subscription. It's not something visible to you when we say it is a Microsoft managed. And that virtual WAN network that we supplied here is Microsoft managed. That is a key thing to understand in this case. Okay. Let's conclude this video and rest of the things we'll pick up in the next demo.